Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and today it's the WNR399. It's the WNR Christmas Special 2021. And of course, I'm here in the WNR Christmas like I have been for the past 7 years at Christmas, but I am all alone, boys and girls. Yes, there is no one here. The fire is burning, the stockings are up at the fireplace, and there is food on the table. And I'm wondering if I've been a good boy this year, because at the moment, there is no one here, and I'm starting to worry a little bit. Oh, hang on a second. I think I hear the door knock. Let me go and open it and just see who's there. Oh, it's Monty. How you doing, man? You must be freezing out there.
First of all, let's just be honest. The fact that I'm here is a shock to even me. I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't had no plans to come here. I'm usually the Grinch around these times of year, so we'll see how this goes. But anyway, let me in, man. It's cold. You can
come on. Take a seat by the fire. It's great that you're here. I love you. What do you think of the cottage? It's nice this time of year, isn't it? You got lights out.
Hey, man, you're doing a little too well. We might need to discuss a little, some payment or something, man. Look at this. It's nice. It's too nice. A little too nice for you, James.
I'm saying, it's Christmas. We always treat ourselves. It's nice you're here. It's just you and me, I suppose. So no one else is going to show up.
No, I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Oh, hang on. I think I just heard the door knock there. Wait. Yeah, definitely the door there. Let me go see who it is. Oh, wow, Monty. You'll never guess. It's Jaxie. Jaxie's
Hello.
Oh, come in.
You never thought you'd see me.
No, what a chance.
See how nice this cottage is?
It's lovely. Keep forgetting.
We got to discuss something with James.
Monty, why did you not see Jaxie out there? It's freezing.
You just said it was cold. I ain't have time.
You left me hanging.
Well, sit down, and I love it that you're both here with me this Christmas. And the question is what do we do at Christmas? What are our Christmas traditions? Now, this might be silly and this might be not, but this is what we're going to do for a Christmas show. Of course, we're going to look at the kind of year in review, but we're going to talk about Christmas as well. So what kind of thing Christmas? Right, we're going to do drinks in a minute. We'll sort presents out as well. I think they're mine. That big pile there is mine. Monty, that one might be yours, but I'm not sure.
How the hell did I even get a present? You didn't know I was coming.
Oh, I didn't. It's just what the people send. You see, all the listeners send the presents, and I got a massive pile there. Jaxie, you've got that pile, and Monty, you got that one. So
yeah, that's fine. Who cares?
It's fine. So it's Christmas. So why are you both here with me this Christmas then? I mean, what would you usually be doing Christmas Day rather than being here in the cottage, near by the fire with that? You smell the cooking as well. It's beautiful, isn't it? You know, we've got the turkey and it's really nice and fresh. Monty, what would you be doing on Christmas Day and Christmas? What are your traditions?
Trying to dodge people because I ain't got no gifts for you. I don't got nothing for you. Usually that's what I'm doing. I'm dodging everybody. I can't believe I'm here now. I told you this is a surprise to even me. No, not seriously. But, usually what I'll be doing, it depends. Since I've turned 18 and found out no one is going to give me anything for free around here for the most part without expecting something back, Christmas kind of changed for me. For most of my childhood, I got a lot of what I need, especially video games. I'm a gamer, so, that's usually what I'll be doing. But, most of the time I'm at the house enjoying a gift these days that I buy for myself. So it just depends on what it is. But usually I purchase something before or around Christmas. Like, I just got a bass guitar. So there you go. So that's a good gift for me to sit back and, play a little bit of music with. So, yeah, stuff like that. Just enjoy my gifts. I'm a receiving type of guy.
But did you have, obviously you don't get presents because you bring anything with you, but that's fine. But do you think you had?
My presents.
Your presents. I remember getting, when I was a young boy, the VHS cassettes of GoldenEye and Speed. And I remember that present even now.
Oh, you're old.
Shut up. That owned, that was everything I needed at the time. Cassettes were kind of like DVDs before DVDs were kind of like streaming. So, yeah, I suppose I'm a little bit. But I mean, what gift do you remember getting, Monty? You talk about games. Is there a game you got when you were younger and you were like, oh my God?
I mean, I got 3 particular occasions. So in 2001, when I was like 6, I got my first PlayStation 2. That held me down for a long time. I got that for Christmas. I got an Xbox 360 when I was like, I don't know how much older I was, but it was much later. I got that, and I got an Xbox One for Christmas. So I think those are the only 3 consoles or whatever. I usually buy the big things like that around Christmas. Apparently, is how that played out. And usually, I always had a nice pick of games. So like, I've been blessed. I've been very, very lucky. So it's kind of funny that I'm the Grinch now. I don't know what happened.
No, we'll try and find that out during the duration of the podcast. Jaxie.
This might turn into a therapy session.
So how are you? No, how are you? Jaxie, what about Christmas for you? You got good memories, hopefully, unlike Monty, or is there anything you remember getting as a child?
I think, overall, just good memories with the family. It's always fun when you've got a big family. So for me, I've got 3 sisters, so there's 4 girls altogether. So Christmas for us was always fun. Probably not as much fun for my father. But, I think overall it was great. And just a lot like Monty, I am a gamer as well. So the very best Christmas present my father bought me was the very first PlayStation for Christmas. That really solidified me becoming a gamer and becoming.
I feel so young around y'all.
No, this is the thing. It's like Monty says PS2, Jack says PlayStation. I thought Sega Mega Drive, and I'm thinking.
No, I mean,
no,
you know what? We did get those as well, but it just wasn't at Christmas, So for me, the fondest memory was getting access to the PlayStation for the first time.
Well, it's always.
I mean, it was out relatively a lot more back then. It was released already, so I was just kind of one of those unfortunate ones that my parents couldn't afford the PlayStation straight away. So this, for me, is the most iconic Christmas present when I think back to my childhood on what I really wanted and what I never thought I'd end up getting, and my parents actually getting me it. That really stands out. But I obviously have like the SNES and stuff as well.
I always remember getting Rangers, obviously, in my team, and I got a goalkeeper top. It was about 7 at the time.
Yeah.
The only problem is it was like a triple XL, so it didn't fit. So we had this moment of me opening it and being so happy and wanting it, and then my parents having to take it off me because it didn't fit and trying to get a new size.
Oh, God.
And it was just kind of one of those moments I thought, oh, God, you kind of wonder at that point. It's even like the stockings. I remember getting so excited running into the room and going, look at my stocking. It's like, well, yeah, because they've just done it for you a couple of hours previously. So, but anyway, I suppose it's a little bit different with certain things. But I think with Christmas, there's always I've always got childlike tendencies anyway. So I think with Christmas, it gives you a good excuse to kind of be, even sillier. And you talk about gift giving, I kind of going overboard as well. Like, it's just one present, but I just get so into it. I just kind of think it is the most wonderful time of year. I'm not going to break into song, but Christmas is very, very special. And especially people with your loved ones. That's why it's nice that we're all here to get together today,
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Monty, for joining us from all the way over in the US.
Yeah, how the hell did I get here? No one is asking the right questions.
No, you're not. But to be fair, the reason why you're here is because, like we said, today we're going to be looking at pay-per-view scores. There is a reason every podcast, when I ask these guys their scores out of 5 and match events out of 10, there is a reason because we all put it together.
Oh, my God. You tallied?
Well, I don't want to pull the curtain because the WNR 400 coming up, which in the next episode, which is going to be the biggest podcast of all time, we're going to be looking at a lot of stuff that happened in the past and what's to do in the future and the changes of it. But it's going to look behind the scenes.
You're past stuff said in our face, aren't you?
No. What I'm saying is that the stuff that we've done before in the year, always kind of gets used and stuff like this. And it's been interesting to see. So there's notebooks. Not only is there a tablet with the kind of, I say script, that I do in front of me. It's more bullet points. But there is a notebook, and every year since the podcast began in 2015, there's a year notebook with all the scores and jots. And the problem is sometimes I write stuff and I think I understand, and it's pretty ineligible. But I'm going to try my best here. So we have every event. And now it looks like in the course of the year that I have watched 34 either takeover specials or pay-per-view events, which you consider is quite a lot. When it's Impact, AEW, WWE and, of course, NXT. But we'll have a little break after about 17 events to do a mass debate. So we're going to have a look now, basically, at the year. We're going to start right back at WNR326. And Monty, you'll remember this. NXT's New Year Evil. You know, we're going to have a look at that. Before that, Wrestle Kingdom. It was Wrestle Kingdom 15. And we gave our thoughts, our rating and matches. You gave it a 9.5 out of 10. That was a really strong start to the year.
Yeah, I mean, Wrestle Kingdom is just an experience to me altogether. I'm already, like, just hyped for the next one. So, like, I can see myself giving it a 9.5 just because they always seem to throw out their best stuff at that moment. And, you know, using hindsight, a lot of things that happened on this show that made me feel so good is, like, so different now. I'm thinking back to it, and it's crazy. But that culminating moment of Kota Ibushi finally becoming God, as the whole story was with him, was definitely, in my opinion, worth that high rating. And it was just a strong show overall. But, yeah, it's kind of crazy talking about January now. But, yeah, the Wrestle Kingdom always, in my opinion, kicks off the year with some of the best wrestling ever. It's kind of, it doesn't really serve them well in like a year-end setting, though, because it happens at the beginning of every year. So,
yeah, but then again, our match of the event as well was Okada versus Osprey that happened on the first night, which is interesting. Ibushi, obviously, our man of the place for at 9.25. So again, a strong start of the year, and it'd be interesting to see what happens. Like we said in January when we got Wrestle Kingdom 16, which was a 3-night event as well. We also had NXT New Year Evil as well. That started off. I'm not going to lie, I did have to go back and have a look. It was Finn Balor defeating Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT title in the main event there. Raquel Gonzalez defeated Rhea Ripley in the last women's standing match as well. That shows how far.
That says everything.
Well, when you think the first match was Cross defeating Damian Priest, you think about the years both of those had. It's crazy, really.
Oh God, that's like the Twilight Zone, man. It's just like a whole different world now.
Well, you gave it an 8.25.
It was a good show, though. I remember. Yeah, it was decent. I remember that show, though.
I was going to say, we gave it 8.75 out of 5. I did. Last women's standard match was apparently the match of the night. It's so interesting to think of all the stuff that we have forgotten about, you know?
Exactly. That's how I know guys like Cornette or Ross, like, they've forgotten more about wrestling than we would ever even learn. Like, the people who've been around wrestling that long, just imagine how much wrestling they have forgotten if we've forgotten all of this just in a year.
Crazy. Were you watching NXT, Jaxie, at this point, or were you just strictly on AEW?
I feel like I was still watching NXT at this point. I definitely remember the last woman standing match. And I'm kind of like actually confused. I can't remember. Did Finn Balor go back to NXT for a bit?
Yeah, he was champion.
Yeah, that's the point. Like,
you telling me he's champion when he's jobbing out constantly right now on WWE Raw. It's just like,
don't even get me started, because Vince don't watch NXT. Vince is just like, he has no clue what Finn is being.
It's going to get so weird. There's so much shit that we have forgotten here. But
it's going to get worse.
It's
only going to get worse.
Honestly. We move on to Impact, Hard to Kill. Of course, me and the Ultimate One. Of course, the Ultimate One can't join us. Hopefully, he gets better soon. And to be fair, I can see why. Because the amount of shit I've had to put him through with the Impact shows. But this was Hard to Kill. And the main event of it, who could forget, was Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, defeating Rich Swann, Chris Sabin, and Moose. And I think the weirdest thing about this show, if you look at what happened to Impact, on the kickoff, Brian Myers defeated Josh Alexander. And you think that's the first pay-per-view of the year, and where both men would go by the end of the year. And it shows you that things can change. You know?
Like, oh my God, that is sick.
I gave that an 8.5 out of 10. The main event match was the best one. And now something that hopefully will jog our memories, the Royal Rumble 2021. Jaxie, do you remember anything of the Rumble?
I remember Bianca winning.
Well, we could actually play a game of, like, guess what the main event... I'm actually having to look it up. What the WWE or Universal matches were.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what they were, and I really cannot remember.
It was Reigns.
This is really bad.
Reigns and Kevin Owens, last man standing.
Yeah.
I think he tied him to the yeah, I remember that now. I think he fucked up towards the end or something like that. McIntyre.
Yeah, the handcuff spot. The handcuff spot.
Oh, yeah, the handcuff slot. That was it. Yeah, now I remember.
McIntyre defeated Goldberg for the for the WWE title match.
Christian wrestled here.
Christian came back. We had the Christian and Edge moment at the Rumble. That was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was an awesome moment. It was. No one had any clue that he was even like. I don't know. I didn't have any clue that he was on the actually even possibly even thinking about returning. So when it happened, it was just a beautiful moment, and it was feel good. And that Royal Rumble match was one of the strongest. Like the one Edge won, and overall was. I remember enjoying the way that match played out, with Edge winning. So, yeah, it ended up being a pretty special night with comebacks like that happening.
Well, like I said, Jaxie, Bianca Belair winning last eliminate Rhea Ripley. That was a great exchange between the two, and that was both our matches of the night. I gave it a 9.
Oh, my God. Drew McIntyre fought Goldberg.
That's what I'm saying. McIntyre and Goldberg, yeah. 9.
Oh, God, yeah, I remember that. I remember this. Okay.
And 8 for Jaxie for the Rumble, which, again, as I can recall, seemed pretty fun at the time anyway. And then we had Impact No Surrender, which was an Impact special. And, of course, I'm not looking up, I know from memory, that the main event was Rich Swann defeating Tommy Dreamer. Of course. Who could forget that? We'll move on. 8 and a quarter. 8 and a quarter there for me for the day. Up next, TakeOver. Vengeance Day. Monty.
Oh, my goodness.
I dare you to tell me what it was. I dare you.
Okay, so you said who the main event is?
Yeah.
Are you asking me who the main event
Yeah,
of Vengeance?
you're buying me time. At the moment, all right, go on.
I think it was, so Finn definitely is there. This is, I'm going to guess just Pete Dunne. I'm going to guess Pete.
Yeah, Finn Balor.
Did I guess right?
You did. I didn't even know.
I don't know how. It just sounded right, and I knew Finn won at the first at Evil, New Year's Evil. So I was like, Finn is there. So I just had to guess who else he was fighting against, and I remember enjoying that match too. By the way, Finn and Pete Dunne.
Well, we gave it a 5.
Because that was the hands match, the finger. Oh my God! Yeah, he destroyed Finn's fingers.
5 out of 5. Main event was our match of the night, and we gave that a 9.5 out of 10 each.
Oh, those are the good days, man. Look how long ago it sounds now when I say it.
Oh, this is that NXT, not that NXT.
All right, Jaxie, you're up next then. In WNR399, the Elimination Chamber. Can you name me anything?
Oh,
no.
Oh.
Seriously. It is. I've got
Let's
blank.
See.
Let's have a look now.
Honestly, I'm so bad at remembering this.
Yeah, the cash-in. So McIntyre.
Yeah.
This is that. No, this is not fair. You guys probably have like Wikipedia or your computers or something.
I only remember this because I remember the night after this. And a lot of people was just so shocked that Miz was WWE champion. And that's the only reason why. I just knew it happened at the Chamber. That's the only I remember. I don't even remember anything else.
Now that you brought it up, now I can remember it now. Yeah.
Well, at least someone can, because honestly, like...
it was over in a flash. It doesn't really matter. Wasn't it over like the next night or a couple weeks after? It didn't take long.
No,
so.
Bobby got his revenge there.
Yeah, Bobby. I didn't know. I think it was like the next night. Wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he didn't have it long at all.
Well, Jaxie, you gave it a 7. I gave it an 8 3/4 out of 10. I don't know what's wrong with me at the start of the year. Very, very happy.
For being kind. Yeah, you were still, feeling positive about the year.
Okay, so we've laughed at NXT not remembering in WWE. What about AEW Revolution? How long ago does that seem, Jaxie?
Revolution.
Wow. Yeah, that was long ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Was that John Moxley?
That was the exploding barbed wire death match that ended with.
Wow, it was John Moxley. Yeah. I remember that because I got so excited at seeing Eddie coming out to make the save just for that really PG moment.
I think that's why I ended up not buying All Out. I was trying
Hey, listen, they were
shake it up.
Here.
I was shaking up here, man. It left me bruised. I was like, I don't know if I trust y'all, man.
Overall, the match overall.
No, the show overall wasn't even that bad. But yeah, that ending kind of put a damper.
It looked like Sting and Allen versus Team Taz as well. That was the match of the night.
Oh.
So I guess that was Sting back in action.
Yeah.
8.5 low out of 10.
They were
bad
still in
score.
Jacksonville, so yeah.
Yeah, not a bad score to give it. Swiftly moving on to Impact, and it is Sacrifice, which is again another Impact Plus special. Anything special here? The main event was Rich Swann defeating Moose. Finn Juice defeating the Good Brothers for the Impact World Tag Team Championship. So I suppose there was at least something happening there with Finn Juice. Not bad at all. What are your thoughts on Finn Juice, Monty? Because I don't think we spoke about them a lot. I'm really digging them. I really like it.
Oh, yeah, man. I love them. I love Finn Juice. They were always a bright spot, even in New Japan. Honestly, that's what I think New Japan this year was missing. I know a lot of things is because of travel issues and also just trying to flesh out New Japan Strong more with their Gaijin. But New Japan was missing Gaijin like Juice Robinson. When I say Gaijin, I mean foreign wrestlers to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So what they miss guys like a Juice Robinson who always brought that energy out. David Finlay, who's just improved, only gotten better over the years. He grew up in the dojo system in New Japan also. So, these guys are two of the best that New Japan can offer, and they've been helping out Impact tremendously throughout this year. And I'm glad that you got a chance to see what they can do because they've been kind of, in New Japan, as good as New Japan can be, it can also shelter talent kind of to a big section of the world. So, I think that's what New Japan Strong is trying to work out and get better at. That's why they're trying to expand more in America and get more eyes on a lot of their talent like Finn Juice because they're very valuable. And the tag division in New Japan misses them very, very much. Trust me, I'm telling you, they're solid. And I understand why you're digging them in Impact because they're a good team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think Impact's a great jumping-off point to get into New Japan. And I think the wrestlers that we've seen with Suzuki and Finn Juice and all the people that have been introduced, it's been great because I can go to Strong then and get to know them a little bit more. Because I think from August, it's when I start watching Strong kind of week in, week out and get to know a little bit more. And like I said, you can enjoy it, and it's Factor Impact there. 9 out of 10 for me, and the main event, Moose and Swan was a great main event as well, there's no doubt about it. WNR399, it's Fastlane. Jaxie, any matches from Fastlane spring to mind?
Nope.
We had Roman Reigns tapping
Roman
out
and
to Daniel Bryan.
Match.
Yeah, tapping out to Bryan, but not tapping out to there.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember.
This is also, I think, the first Peacock night for us Americans, and we've hated the cock ever since. So.
Are you riding the cock that night? Yeah.
Yeah, the cock has been screwing us over ever since.
It had major streaming issues, didn't it?
Yes, yeah. This is at least around the time when they announced it. I don't know if this was the first one, or I don't know if Mania was the actual first one, or if this was, but this is definitely around the time where the cock was being born. So this is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
We're like 10 months into that, the use of the cock, stream WWE. How would you say that the service has improved since?
It's been a cock, it's been screwing us over. It's been doing its best consistently to be inconsistent. I don't know. And also the biggest detriment to me really it's not even just the quality of the streaming. The streaming quality has improved when, especially when they have live events going on. But the biggest downside of Peacock has been to me. It seemed like for some reason, even for the network on you guys, they've given up on making original content outside of Broken Skull Ranch. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, other than, like, they update other things. I know Icons and WWE 24 still is great and all of that, but it is nowhere near what it used to be. And I know it's not a network anymore, but man, it just, that place is, I don't only go there when something is live now. I rarely even check out the archives for old wrestling. NXT UK and live wrestling is pretty much the only thing I'm going there for. And so yeah, I'm not liking the cock at all.
I do miss the network, you know.
Yeah, they had some really decent stuff on there, but I don't know. That's obviously not the focus anymore, or at least right now. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But Broken Skull is definitely still worth your time out there. So.
There's still series like Icons and stuff like that they haven't released. They did like a mass fire in the talent, but we're actually going to go into streaming because there's a lot of streaming services at the moment, like Fight TV and stuff like that, and actually go and have a look and review them in the WNR 400 because, like I said, the WNR podcast used to stand for WWE Network Reviews, so we used to have all the content that we used to watch all the time.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see that as well. But like I say, we're fast on a forgettable event. We move on to the next one, Stand and Deliver. NXT Stand and Deliver. I think this was the first ever 2-night event. And we also had NXT Prelude as well, which had Volta versus Rampage Brown for NXT title and Tyler Bate versus Noam Dar, which doesn't seem too bad at all. And then we Stand and Deliver. Volta versus Ciampa got a 5 out of 5 for us. Seemed to be a standout match. Riley Cole faced off and Balor versus Cross for I think that was for the NXT Championship, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that the night with Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez? Is that when Raquel?
Yeah, the first night was Walter and Ciampa. I think was the same night as Raquel and
Yeah. Was that was that the night that Raquel won the title?
Yeah, became champion.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? I thought so. Yeah, I did watch this pay-per-view.
Then the following night, Cross beat Balor to become an NXT champ. So that Riley and Cole and unsanctioned
went for 40 minutes.
Did he become champ just to actually get injured and have to vacate the next day?
Yeah, that's fair. I forgot he got injured, came back and won it back.
Yeah,
this year. Oh my God!
This was this year.
Happened this year.
Oh my God!
Remember
it was like the ultimate disappointment because everyone got so excited after he became champ, and then
that was just the beginning of the end. I guess it was a calm before the storm.
It was over before it even began. Oh God, how wounding was that for Karrion?
That was last year, wasn't it, with Lee?
Okay, so this is this
you are getting last year he beat Keith Lee, got injured, and then went away, come back, face Balor.
So this is the second one.
Yeah,
so that's fine. I was about to say, did that happen all in 1 year? James, don't sit there that long.
Yeah.
Why did you sit there that long? Did you hear me? I asked you a question. I was like, did that all happen in 1 year?
I know. I was just thinking that. Was that this year?
But that's fair.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But there we go. We did give that a good score, 8 3/4 out of 5, 8.5 as well. Yeah. So Stand and Deliver did stand and deliver, I guess. And then WrestleMania 37, another 2-night event. Someone's pay-per-view of the year, so someone's going to remember this really, really well.
Oh man, especially night one.
Night one,
specifically night one.
Jaxie, is there a better WrestleMania main event than what happened on night one?
No, I'm sorry. I mean, you can't really. You can't compete with what took place with Bianca. So
yeah, it's history, man. It was history. But like I think Seth Rollins and Cesaro was also that night. I remember loving that match.
I think that was a good match as well. Yeah.
Of course, Bunny. Like Bad Bunny. Yep. Of course, Bad Bunny. Bobby Lashley retaining.
It was
a strong first night. Oh, that was
Yeah,
Omos debut.
I
Omos
think
didn't even wrestle before this, so yeah.
I think the only thing that was disappointing, I can't remember if this is night 1 or night 2, was the sort of like women's tag battle royale, like for the opportunity for the tag championships. Like I just remember it got such
Yeah.
the time
I think that was
it just
night.
didn't
I
started.
don't
It
know,
kind
2
of
or 1.
like
Probably both nights.
yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I just remember that being a little bit of a disappointment, but I remember Seth v Cesaro being great.
Well, don't forget, night 2, we had Reigns stacking up Edge and Bryan as well, which probably didn't get mentioned in holy shit moments, but that was a holy shit moment indeed.
It definitely was, yeah.
So WrestleMania overall was quite good there. Then we had Impact Rebellion. I got comfortable for a second and forgot I was doing this. We've got Impact Rebellion, which was indeed a pay-per-view, and the main event of that was, of course,
that's Kenny's night.
Kenny Omega defeating Rich Swann, champion versus champion. Yeah, winner take all. Did you actually watch this then, Monty? Did you order it?
I saw this one. I actually saw Rebellion, believe it or not. So yeah, because I like Rich Swann. I always have, and him. I was into his run as world champion, and but I kind of knew the result. I think I remember that was the thing I didn't really like about Rebellion, is that I just kind of, it's like, no way Omega is not coming out of here champion. I just didn't see it, and that's kind of, I mentioned this on in the past, but like that's the thing about the Forbidden Door, kind of like when you messing with different promotions, they're not going to want to book their top guy to lose to someone else's top guy. It's just a reality, and like it's one of those tricky things when you with the Forbidden Door that everyone loves talking about so much, that it's a reality that people have to acknowledge. And I think this is one of those situations, especially thinking about how this turned out in hindsight.
I think without doubt, when you talk about it, it'd be interesting to, look back and think Impact. Yeah, they did actually have quite a few interesting moments this year as well. The next event we'll look at, actually, so 8.5, 9 out of 10 for Ultima one now. He really did Kenny Omega. Main event was the match of the night. Next event, WrestleMania Backlash. Who can WrestleMania Backlash? Because all the momentum Cesaro got at WrestleMania was squashed by Roman Reigns.
Immediately. He was never to be heard from again.
Yep.
But we did have Bayley and Belair, though, Jaxie. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that match. I thought it was all right. That match, it just kind of showcased again Bianca Belair.
Yeah, well, I gave it an 8 3/4. You give it 7.5. So your scores at the moment are, like I said, along the line. I think that would be fair to say. Up next, AEW Double or Nothing. I mean, who can forget this event? We had. What did we have at this event? Hang on a minute. We're just going to have a look. We got Double or Nothing. How can no one remember anything? Come on, guys. Got AEW. These.
Oh yeah, Jaxie. You love AEW.
Yeah, go on, Jaxie. You big. Yeah, that was Kenny Omega defeating Orange Cassidy and Pac.
This is Jericho off the cage, right? This is Jericho off
Omega's boring title reign.
Yeah, this was
this might not be Jericho.
This is the Inner Circle, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not going to badmouth this. I still think that there was, some great matches here. I'm pretty sure this was like when it got revealed that Leo Rush had joined AEW as well. So there was like a few nice surprises. I think that there was like Mark Henry was also like debuted on there to kind of be like potentially discussing like their new show coming up, Rampage. But there was some good matches.
This feel like forever ago.
This is Rampage.
Yeah, it does feel like there were a few good matches. The ending unfortunately spoiled it, and I think that was mainly because of the camera angles. If the camera angle hadn't been exactly there,
falling in the cardboard boxes. Yeah,
kind of. in a way. But I just remember like the triple threat match for the AEW Championship was a great match, and it was just great to see Pac in sort of like a title picture.
Yeah, 8 3/4 out of 5 for the event, so not bad at all. The AEW world title match for me was the match of the night. NXT in your house next. Monty, do you remember the main event for this?
Let's see. In your house. Let's say I'm taking a gander, but Cross is definitely in the match. All right. So how many people is he fighting? One person, or you gonna give me a hint? No.
Right. If I tell you that, it'll be lead. It's a fatal 5-way.
It's a lead.
For the NXT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's that one. Okay. So yeah, never mind. So I just kind of spawned it, but yeah, Cross, I guess, Cole and Gargano. Yeah, O'Reilly, Dunn. I remember enjoying this match.
Tampa was part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember not that match. This was good. This was a good show. Oh my God, in your house, man. Oh, black and gold. This is bad. Don't do this to me, James. Just make me miss what they used to do. Like, Gargano's gone now. O'Reilly's gone. Cole is gone. Cross is gone.
We had the ladder match with LA Knight defeating Cameron Grimes as well.
Okay. That's a good memory from this night. But,
yeah,
oh my goodness. Pete Dunne is still there. That's all I got for you. He's the only one left from that main event.
You gave it an 8.5 out of 10 with Grimes, your match.
What a year.
9.25 for me for that one. And then Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell? What is Hell in a Cell here for? June 20th, apparently. McIntyre versus Lashley. Ripley versus Charlotte. Owens versus Zayn. Cesaro versus Rollins. Belair versus Bailey. I think that's the only match I remember, to be fair.
Yeah. Belair and Bailey killed it.
Yeah, I think I remember the Lashley match as well, Bobby Lashley's match with Drew McIntyre.
That's crazy. I don't even remember Ripley and Charlotte.
I feel like it was so randomly placed, like, there. Hell in a Cell, like, used to be, I'm pretty sure, like,
it was like December, right?
I was going to say October, like, end of October. Like,
but Jaxie, we can't forget this special event because, of course, what we did on the show.
What did they do? What did you do?
Well, what did we do?
We of course, I didn't forget. We were joined by Select Match Pods. Of course, Simon and Chris joined us for that show.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. Like we had that was quite an interesting discussion.
Oh my God, is there more to this story?
No.
Just like I think it was kind of my one of my first few times of like kind of interacting with other people other than just James on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
And did it help?
This is pretty us meeting. Yes, this definitely prepared me for meeting Monty and Ultimate One for sure.
Yeah, we believe at that point we had never met, but that was Hell in a Cell. We gave that 8, so we didn't. We had 8 across the board, not too bad at all. Up next,
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte fought, and I don't remember that. That is crazy.
I think
it's very easy to forget something when Charlotte Flair's involved. She's done it already.
I served that one up for her.
Yeah, I got a feeling Charlotte won there. Yeah, she got it done.
Yeah.
We had Impact, I guess against all odds, but I'm not sure because, like I said, sometimes it can be a little bit of a mess, and I don't know if it's a pay-per-view or an Impact special because they had so many. They had Slammiversary, which is a week after, so we know we had that. So Impact against all odds. Is it Impact? Yeah, of course it is. So no one... At the moment, I'm just talking to myself. That's fine. They got Under Siege. Against all odds. Here we go. We got it here. Who can forget? June 12th. My God, that truncated silence is really going to help me on this show. So we've got...
I don't think I watched this one.
Kenny Omega defeating Moose for the Impact World Championship. Perazzo defeating Rosemary. And then we had Slammiversary. We did do predictions for Slammiversary as well, so we have got them somewhere. And we did do the event. We had Omega versus Sami Callihan. Perazzo versus Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa answering the open challenge there. But I can see no scores from. So there's nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid. And then we've got Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank as well. Who won Money in the Bank this year, Jaxie?
Oh, shit.
We sound like experts, guys.
This is so bad.
It's only 6 months ago. We've fucking got
The Money in the Bank. Let's see.
Everybody can help.
We've had so much discussion over, a multitude of months. Okay.
Yeah. It's so many AEW random specials.
Oh my god!
They had a fan appreciation night. Why are we talking about fan appreciation? Why are we talking about fan appreciation?
Hey, hold on. The obvious one, obviously, it was Big E, right?
Yeah,
because he became champion.
How the hell did I forget that?
How did it take me so long to actually remember that?
Oh my god! Do you know how many times I said?
Listen, I wasn't prepared for this. Yeah,
my brain said
really
Oscar like it was 2020. Oscar, that was like 2 years ago now, man.
Right,
yeah.
This woman won it.
It was Nikki. It was Nikki, wasn't it?
It was Nikki.
Oh, now that's definitely forgettable. Oh my god, I forgot.
No, honestly,
she was the champion too.
Yeah, because all I can remember was it the same night or was it the night after on Raw?
It was that Raw. It was that next Raw.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
Reigns beat Edge.
Reigns beat Edge in the main event. James, okay.
Reigns fought Edge.
Yeah, that was the main event there.
And that was a good ass match, and I just forgot about everything. That makes me mad.
We move on to an event we can all remember when we all met up for the very first time. Was it Triple Mania? When we all
oh my god! What a show! Now I remember some of that stuff.
Wasn't it Hulk smashing through a wall?
Yeah. Don't get me started on the Marvel. Was it a Marvel Battle Royal? What was it? I don't even know what to call it. That show was sick. Oh, and then the way the show ended with the mask match that confused the hell out of everybody.
There was Psycho Clown defeating Rey Scorpion. We did have Omega versus Andrade, though.
Yeah, Ric Flair.
Perazzo defeating Fanny Apache. So take the good and the bad, I suppose. You did give it an 8, so.
Yeah, I enjoyed, the meat of it. It was a lot of stuff that threw me off. I do know that much, but it was fun overall. I think I remember having fun watching it. So I have always enjoyed it.
Ultima gave it a 7. I gave that an 8.25. And up next is I just put NXT Takeover, which is not helping out anybody really. I don't think it's not really. Was there an NXT Takeover for SummerSlam? I don't think there was.
It was. I think they went to Sci-Fi.
Well, whenever Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross for the NXT title, whenever that happened, that might have been the Takeover. That was Takeover 36 afterwards. Right, I found out. We're going to go back to that in a second. We do SummerSlam first. Could we all remember SummerSlam? Of course, because of Money in the Bank.
Of course.
This is the one that we can't forget.
Right, okay. What happened, Jaxie? Go on, fill us in.
Well, everyone's favourite Becky Lynch came back and just screwed Bianca Belair over and screwed the rest of us as well. So that was all the only thing that really fucking mattered at this point was we all got screwed. Oh, and then obviously there was the John Cena match as well, which by this point I just didn't even give a fuck because of Becky just in my house.
Oh, I know you hated the triple threat match.
Still bitter. I am still bitter about this, and I'm not going to get over it for a while. Okay.
I don't even think you watched the triple threat match Charlotte and Nikki and Rhea had. I bet that didn't even matter. Especially since Charlotte involved.
It went by in a complete daze.
There was a lot of stuff that started here though, like Priest Reign started. Mm-hmm. If you like RK Bro, that stuff started, I think, or at least their reign, I think, started here. That's all out. A lot
Edge and Rollins stuff, as we mentioned. Edge and Rollins,
the great Edge and Rollins match, of course.
So
Goldberg was here. He got beat, so that was good.
My rating for SummerSlam was 8. Jaxie's rating was she put "fuck this," but no.
She gave up.
She put 7 down for that.
Oh,
-5 stars.
Impact. Oh no, we had NXT. I was going to talk about NXT 36 because who can remember that name? Was it the 36? Was the poster where it looked like 35? That's the main thing. I remember for that.
This is when Samoa Joe became the champion. Do
you remember Joe?
That says everything you gotta say.
Yeah, but it also
Cole O'Reilly defeated Adam Cole, right? It was like that 3 out of 3 match, 3 matches.
3 hours out of 4. Yeah, that was.
That was like 3 hours.
So Dragon off and Walter though. Off and Walter.
Match of the year. Match of the year for me.
Yeah.
And Knight versus Grimes as well, which is great, So not a bad show. 9 1/4 for you, Monty. 9 for me for that one. We've just spoke about SummerSlam, Impact, Emergence, which was Myers versus Christian in the main event. Of course, Christian had beaten Kenny Omega. First Rampage to become the Impact World Champion. So, did the Kenny Omega Impact title reign actually help anyone? Jaxie, from an outside perspective, from what we talked about, did it?
I mean, I gotta admit, I started watching a little bit more of Impact because Kenny Omega was showing up more on there and doing a lot more promotion work. So I'm gonna say but that is from a personal point of view. Maybe from someone who's been watching Impact a lot more, probably has a much different opinion compared to me. But from my opinion, I think it did help in terms of getting a few more viewers than what they may have not possibly had if kind of left to do their own thing without any sorts of collaboration with AEW.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think you could say it has helped certain ways get more eyeballs, but in the end, it was an Impact guy that kind of got one over on Omega. But with Christian, he kind of felt so Impact. It kind of worked out the end with Alexander, and of course, moving on with the story with Moose now as well. I did forget to stop like halfway through to do like a masturbate, so we just continue doing this. If we got time, we'll do one. If not, it's fine because we've just moved on.
Please got 400.
It's the WNR 381, and that was all out of the pay-per-view of the year in every sane man and woman's eyes. Obviously, the match.
Unless those eyes didn't watch it.
I just didn't watch it. My eyes didn't let me. That's all that happened. We had, the card itself, forget about the buy-in, but we had Miro defeating Eddie Kingston, John Moxley defeating Kojima, Baker defeating Chris Statlander, Lucha Brothers defeating the Young Bucks, of course, in the steel cage. Ruby Soho won the Casino Battle Royale, beating Thunder Rosa. Lastly, Jericho beat MJF by submission. CM Punk debuted and beat Darby Allin. Paul White debuted, quick don't mention it, defeating QT, and Kenny Omega defeating Christian main event. And then the debuts of a holy shit good of the year, Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. I mean, Jaxie, what a fucking pay-per-view.
I mean, again, this is why I'm still completely shocked as to how Monty did not put that as his pay-per-view of the year, but whatever.
Oh my God. Come on.
I just don't understand
why
it.
are
I
we
don't know
hammering
how
this phone?
I actually feel gutted that you missed out on watching that holy shit moment alongside the rest of us. I really am.
You sound like it. You really are hurt for me, and I just want to let you know that this ain't the first one. I grew up missing pay-per-view. I grew up catching the Raw after the show so I can watch the little slow motion pictures. So I'm cool. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I got the gist. No, but I understand. From what I hear from everybody else, I definitely missed out on something. So I'm not, but I just, again, I'm starting on it. I didn't watch it. I can't say it's number one. I can't do what everybody else is doing. I'm a hipster like that.
You're a rebel. That's what you
yes.
are.
For no reason at all. For no reason at all. Because I probably could honestly admit it, but I won't, just so I can stand packed. WrestleMania 31 night one.
37.
WrestleMania 31 night one.
37.
I've been playing it. I've been saying it so long now that it's just ingrained. So, no, 37. Night one.
All Out was unbelievable. 9.5 from you, Jaxie, who normally gives stuff. Like I said, WWE's usually like 7.5 range. AEW, but 9.5 is crazy. 9 3/4 out of 10 for me. And the other thing I'm pleased about is because you do it for a year, and then you go, "Oh, my pay-per-view of the year is this," and you look back and you go, "I hope I've given it the highest score." And luckily for me, when I saw 9.5 for Vengeance Day, I panicked a little bit, but luckily 9 3/4 is the highest score. So All Out is pay for the year. Up next, Extreme Rules and the death of the demon falling off the deadly top rope.
God.
It was the Lord. It was the Lord.
It was just awful. I actually think like I really could not stand this whole pay-per-view. This had a really good tag match between the Usos and the Street Profits on there.
Yes.
It was a gust of wind, man.
I think it was just a decent like tag match between two people, but I was like pissed off because Bianca won like kind of like by a disqualification, which obviously meant that Becky retained. So I was obviously pissed. And then the whole fuckery with Finn Balor and the ropes.
Whenever Bianca is gonna lose, they have to make sure she's in the main event for you. If they want to keep your attention, she better lose late.
Well, it's funny,
no, but I get it. It's a mess there, but I get it.
If Jaxie ever went to a wrestling like a WrestleMania and it was like Charlotte versus Belair in the main event and Charlotte won, she would be that fan spearing Charlotte on the entranceway.
I would totally get noticed by Bianca Belair because I'd be the only bitch out there hyping and being the biggest hype girl out there for Bianca Belair, even if she lost. I swear down.
You'll be spearing Charlotte. We all know. People will go, who does that? I'll know her.
Yeah, I have a death wish, so nah. I'd rather not get arrested in a foreign country that I'm not.
Everybody talks about from that show Finn Balor falling off the rope. But they forgot he was flopping around like a fish before that when they had to revive him when the music was playing. So don't forget about that, guys, in this year review.
Like a fish. Oh my God, no, I was even laughing my ass off at that. I was like, what is he doing? Like flapping around like a fish.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand it either, but I guess that's what possession was supposed to look like.
Well,
that shit was funny.
Another 7 from Jaxie here, 8 from me. Impact Victory Road with Cage and Austin in the main event. When that was my match of the night, I gave it a 9 out of 10 for Victory Road. We had Swan and Matt versus the Good Brothers, Alexander versus Sabin as well. This was just Alexander's kind of last step before challenging for the world title as well. That page is a mess. Predictions for Crown Jewel, and we did Crown Jewel as well. And Crown Jewel was actually treated with a little bit of respect this year. Jaxie, was Crown Jewel as bad as it has been in previous years, the Saudi Arabian event?
I kind of actually remember it being, I'm not going to say decent, but it wasn't as bad as the rest. We had it was like Big E versus Drew McIntyre, wasn't it? And then we had like Bobby Lashley and Goldberg. I think I was really annoyed with the Bobby Lashley and Goldberg match, only because I just can't deal with Goldberg, you know. So I would have been much more happier seeing Bobby Lashley come out as the winner. But it was the King of the Ring tournament as well, so or the finals of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Xavier Woods came out on top, and I was really, really pleased with that. I mean, I was even pleased with Zelina Vega being crowned Queen of the Ring, although I just don't understand this whole King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. What do you actually win apart from being called King and Queen for the next year or two? Like, what happened with King Corbin? They're just going to milk that character. So it's just, even though I was happy with the winners, I just think it's such a pointless tournament.
You get a tag team title shot by the look of things. So
I was just about to say,
it's handy.
It looked like you have a tag team championship.
Was that really it? That was really it, though, right?
Yeah, we Belair picking up by Sasha Banks. I remember that as well. One hand in that matchup.
Yeah,
with Becky Lynch and of course Reigns. And like I said, Blair just delivered this year. Ultima One gave it a 7.5, the same as Monty. Jaxie gave it an 8. I gave it a 9 out of 10 for that one there. And then just looking at other bits and pieces, we have Bound for Glory. Monty, do you remember Bound for Glory?
Yes, because I had to review it. So yes, I definitely remember it. And one of the saddest endings of a pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life. Just ruined Josh Alexander's son's dreams. Oh my goodness, that was hilariously bad.
I remember that actually because it's like his son and wife got in the ring, and it was just that was just harsh.
Yeah, and Mickey retained the title. I remember that happening, and like I said, it was overall a solid show. I remember, but that moment sticks out in my mind. I just watched this little boy see his father get beat, and this guy just bragging right in front of him with like no
zero F given that the wife and child was in the ring like celebrating. He was like, "I don't give 0 Fs. I am coming for the title now."
We also had, let's not forget the inspiration, the holy shit bad moment for the Ultimate One winning the tag team titles. I imagine like a Scooby-Doo moment, inspiration. We also...
I honestly was a little bit shocked that they returned and then won as well.
Such an impact move.
Was it Decay?
I warned you guys, and he was still outraged.
You gave that a 7, Monty. I gave that an 8, and that was, I think, for the thing with Bound for Glory, after the year that we had with all the excitement for Impact, the main show just didn't deliver. I think that'd be fair to say. Yeah. Which was a shame. And then we had AEW Full Gear. I think they peaked it all out. They should have just left it. We had, of course, Adam Page defeating Kenny Omega for the AEW World title. Punk versus Eddie Kingston as well. Miro versus Bryan. I mean, Jaxie, what were your thoughts on this pay-per-view looking back?
I remember this was the tag match with Cody Rhodes and Pac teaming up against Malachi Black and Andrade. That was really good. I kind of remember like there was Britt Baker and Ty, and like there was CM Punk and Eddie Kingston, which I really, really enjoyed that match. I mean, I think overall this was really good. I don't think it had the exact same wow factor that it All Out brought, but I mean, All Out brought complete, new wrestlers into it, so it had that more of a wow factor over it. that being said, I still think it was good. We had like the tag match between the Lucha Brothers and FTR, and even though like it kind of ended with like a bit of a distraction and stuff like that, overall the content of that match was amazing as well. So it was just, again, really good, really good pay-per-view.
Yeah, so the MGF and Darby Allin match to start was great.
I was just about to say,
finish as well.
Mention all of that, and MJF and Darby killed it to kick off the show, man.
Yeah, they did. They really set the standard, really. And again, I think you brought up the Miro and Bryan Danielson match, but wow, that match was just great. It was such a great match between two men that I didn't want either to lose. So it was a really tough one to see who was going to kind of become the victor. But yeah, I just think that it had such great star power involved in it as well, and just every match was just killing it.
And you know what? That's the last AEW pay-per-view of the year, and I know we had Winter is coming up. We looked at on the last show, but that's not too bad for AEW to look back. But there has been a massive change on the roster from AEW, but halfway through the year, and it's crazy to look back. And think how much it's changed. I mean, Jax, have you noticed that much of a change? Or even look back now and you think, it has a massive,
No, do you know what? I would actually look at it and look at that sort of like match card throughout the months and actually say that it has changed, but it's more like it's given opportunity. You can just see how much more opportunity has been spread out throughout each month. And that's something that I can really appreciate, because we don't want to continue on seeing repeated matches to the point where no one's looking forward to the next pay-per-view because we already know which match is going to be happening, And I think that when you review, especially this year's match card for AEW, there's just been so much scope for opportunity in each and every match card. It's been great to see.
I think we're out now. We move on to our last WWE pay-per-view of the year, Survivor Series, and of course it was Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Now, would this be a more effective thing, Monty, if we didn't have the draft just a month previously?
You know what? Maybe it definitely will be more effective, but honestly, I'm sick of that whole format altogether. It's lazy. It's overdone. These people, I refuse to believe any of the wrestlers really give a damn whether they're on Raw or SmackDown, if you see what I'm saying. Like, it's not that much of a difference. Don't try to come at me and make me think that anyone cared about Becky Lynch versus Charlotte because one of them was on Raw and one of them was on SmackDown. That is not why that match was awesome. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anyone really cares about that. I miss the classic Survivor Series. Let's just do storyline. One of my favorite Survivor Series of recent memory literally had none of this brand supremacy stuff. It was all about the authority with Dolph Ziggler coming out, being a sole survivor towards the end of that match with Sting's help. I know that sounds like a forever ago, but what I'm trying to say is that had real stakes. It felt like something, even though they went and contradicted themselves not too long after that, and with the authority coming right back. That show was special, and it wasn't this lazy brand supremacy stuff. You still can build a story around the 10-man matches and around the Survivor Series format that is not just Raw versus SmackDown.
Do you know what? I feel like the closest that they got to it actually being potentially a decent pitch for like brand supremacy was when they actually decided to start including NXT, because it brought some new excitement to the WWE universe and the fans that don't necessarily always keep up with NXT. So you were seeing brand new faces, and then seeing some of them come in and be having great ass matches, defeating sometimes defeating the brand and being seen as the more dominant brand. Shayna came out and slayed it, all of them did, when Adam they were Cole. On NXT. And that whole one made me actually, that whole pay-per-view itself really made me think and question, oh my gosh, okay, Survivor Series is going to get lit now if they're bringing in the third brand too. We're going to get to see so much more excitement, so much more variety, and then they fucked it.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. That feels like forever ago when NXT went undefeated.
Yeah, it really does, because, again, it introduced Shayna shortly after Shayna came up, and then she absolutely slayed at Elimination Chamber. And then again, she's kind of like not being utilized the way she really should. It really bothers me that she's not being utilized the way she should. She should be promoted the way that they were promoting Ronda Rousey. Like, she was an absolute beast in NXT, and it's such a shame to see her kind of just being like paid bodyguard to Sonya, you know? So I think for me, Survivor Series dregs up bad feelings because I still remember how excited I was in this sort of current time now of wrestling, how disappointed I was that we got kind of such a great sort of fresh take on brand supremacy, bringing in NXT, and then within 12 months they screwed it all up again.
The thing is, though, as well, is why don't you just do something basic with Survivor Series? Why don't you just have someone debut there? And then you can just bring out the same shit as the same guys as Rock and Kurt Angle and all these people. Just do something a little bit more to Survivor Series tradition. And it's a shame, and WWE has pissed me off this year, you know, with the amount of releases, the amount of fucking changes and stuff. You know, the scores with like 8 and me trying to be nice. And this
build was egregious too, though. That's another thing. They didn't even try with the build, James. No. Like, usually they at least put effort. Like, even like with Becky Lynch when she went on her run and they invaded Raw, at least they put effort into the brand supremacy to make it feel like it meant something. It didn't mean anything at all this time.
I do agree with what James said sort of at the beginning of introducing us to discussing Survivor Series, how I really don't think that having the what's it called? The brand switch sort of pick before Survivor Series just happened. That didn't give really enough room or scope for story building between both brands either. So it just really didn't help.
No, and it's a shame that they couldn't finish the year with a bang, especially with the time between day one being so far off. And it's like I said, WWE just keep making mistakes. But it'd be interesting to see if they can recover that in the new year, you know, just to compare the AEW shows with the WWE. And it is a bit like night and day, really. And the last official show of the year is NXT War Games, of course, 2.0's first takeover. And Monty, we were pleasantly surprised by this, weren't we?
Yeah, it's 2.0's shining moment. The best show, in my opinion, that they've put on just so far. And this is the one time where I felt like this is the one time where I just thought they actually showed the potential of a lot of the new faces that they have, while at the same time telling good stories and having solid action in the ring for a majority of the show. And like, I really enjoyed, like I said, the 2.0 versus Black and Gold War Games and everything it meant, and this being Gargano's last takeover possibly ever. It's special. So you know, I enjoyed the Fabian Eichner show. I'm still that still left an impression that I still remember that match vividly, just because of that's how strong that tag match was, and Cora Jade and Dr. Io Shirai. This was a lot of fun stuff that happened on this War Games, and I was very pleasantly surprised at how fun this was.
Kinda can. Don't forget about that as well. I mean,
yes, Dakota Kai fit completely in a trash can, and it was unbelievable. Raquel spent her in a circle like she was a child. It was crazy, man. It was an awesome show, though. Awesome show.
Yeah, we both gave that a 9 as well, so we finished the year strong. So after, like we said, crying over the Black and Gold, does it give you hope for 2022 for the 2.0 brand with takeovers?
I'm going in with low expectations, so I will not get let down. It is impossible to let me down with anything in wrestling anymore, because I doubt that it will be good going in on purpose.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's how I've looked at wrestling for so many years.
Especially WWE. Oh my God. Other than NXT UK, I usually come in with low expectations. And that's saying a lot. So that just shows you how NXT UK has started to impress me the more I've been watching, because they're pretty much the most consistent stuff that's on WWE, and I mean that. From week to week, they're the most consistent, and that's crazy. They don't get any other love for it, but I'm telling you guys now,
us two are the only ones watching it.
Exactly.
But that's near the year for the show. But because it is Christmas time, and the year that wasn't such a bad look back at the year in review. Yeah, maybe not as nice as planned as some other shows, but hey, we got through it, you know. And it's good to look back and actually there's a reason for it as well. I think that's what's exciting, especially with, you know, the two of you. We can tell when we're watching the show that we can talk through it and have this kind of back and forth and talk about scores and know it's actually going to be used as well. Weirdly enough, 12 months after we've done it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of fun to kind of be able to review back, kind of like not only just the content that we've been given by both by all these different promotions, but also looking at kind of like our in hindsight, looking at like our views on how the year has progressed or not progressed for each company.
Yeah, I think without doubt it'd be interesting to see what happens next year. But like I said, so it is the Christmas season, and we like to give presents and gifts. So we'll start, Monty, with you. If you could give a present to a wrestling company, we'll give presents out to the wrestling companies that we know. So if you could give a present out to WWE or a gift for 2022, what would it be?
Oh my goodness.
Would it be like for me? It would be quite. It'd be like blocking Nick Khan's phone, so he couldn't release any more talent. You know, that would be my gift.
My gift to them would be consistent creative and like faith in creative. I would give them like the fans' faith. Like no one has faith in anything WWE does creative wise consistently on TV, because they're all over the place for the most part. Even when they have gold, sometimes they just ruin it with the slightest altercation for no reason. So I just want more consistency, and then I wish they'd do enough. I want to give them the gift of earning our faith back. So they won't let us down, but you know, who am I kidding? But yeah, I think it's been a while. They've tarnished a lot of people's faith in them, and I think that's kind of what I look at overall. Not for them as a company, is just how I feel like in 2019 WWE was at the top of their game, almost, or at least seemed like they were going to be there almost. They had their flaws, but it's just like it's crazy to me, but how far removed from that WWE. Just think back if you can. I know we had a hard time remembering stuff from earlier this year, but if you just think back to some of the things that were going on just a couple of years ago and looking at where WWE is now, public opinion wise, they've definitely lost a lot of people's faith. So they definitely have to improve on that going forward.
Jaxie, is anything you'd give WWE for next year?
Yeah, I would give them the gift of actually firing their creative team and giving them a whole new one.
What about AEW?
I asked for more consistent creative. I guess we asked for
Jackson's just going in there. You're all fucking fired. You're all fucking Merry Christmas. Yeah. Go home to your families.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Merry fucking
Come on, man.
More
people get fired.
I go in like, do you guys all remember the amount of wrestlers that you fired like all last year? Well, you're joining them, so get out.
Get the fuck out. Exactly. What would you give AEW for 2022, or if anything?
I'd give the wrestlers there the world's best healthcare, because there's too many injuries that continue to happen. So I would give them more healthcare to look after their bodies, because there is no way that I am willing to have Ray Fenix out on injury again for like the 18th time this year.
They keep
I'm not gonna lie. I miss seeing Ray Fenix whenever he is off injured. So just stop going off injured, Ray Fenix. You're wanted on TV.
Monty, what would you give AEW, if anything?
You just want Ray Phoenix to show up with his arm in his hand, just like broken arm and all. Just like, nope, I still want you to wrestle, Ray. I don't care what's going on with you now.
No, the
got
best
another one.
that, like, we prevent that.
But yeah, let's see. Oh man, this may come off the wrong way, but I don't really care. Actual focus on women's wrestling storytelling. Not just wrestling, but just like storytelling using the women. More of a focus. Hell, more main events on Rampage, more of a spotlight all together. And I'm not just talking about whoever Britt Baker is fighting. And I know they're doing a great job with the tournament of showcasing people, but the way it's presented, I still don't like it. They usually come after a for example, I love what Sheeta and Dee did, but it's too often that after a massive segment, the women come out there and they just have a match right after a crowd has been at their max. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why you keep putting these women in this hard spot when Dee and Sheeta are doing great and the crowd is just tired because they just saw an hour classic right before that. So, sometimes the placement and what they decide to do with the women aggravates me. So I would give AEW more of a focus on great storytelling with their women.
Preach. I like that.
Yeah, I disagree. I think we should have less women. I feel...
You're just trying to
get him, Jack. I'll get his ass for you.
You're just trying to pick a fight with me.
I'm joking.
I don't want to go there, James.
Consistency in the women's division is a must. I will say NXT UK and Impact, my kind of present for NXT UK will be Takeover. Give them a takeover to deliver what they can do with more eyes on the product. And for Impact, it would push the boat out for Bound for Glory. Your biggest event in the year, you do not want to look like any other event. Just even if it's extra, even if you have the fans coming in or whatever it is, just whatever you need to do. Bring it to England if you have. Well, probably not with the Omicron, but you know what I'm saying, in an ideal world.
Right.
Try just make it bigger and better than it is. Because, like I said, it's... when you look at something, you can picture it. This is the reason why we followed these, and no offense to Ring of Honor or NWA or stuff like that, or MLW, but there's a place you have to stop. And I think with Impact next year, that's kind of might fall back in line with that. But with the rest of that we've got, it's been excellent. With WWE, it's like you've got NXT UK. Just leave it like that. That's my ask.
I agree.
Just leave it alone.
Leave it alone. That's my present for NXT UK. That WWE, the head of WWE, Vince, whoever, that they have absolutely nothing to do with it. Leave it alone. Continue to act like it don't exist. But please give it a takeover. Yes, I agree with that. But act like it don't exist other than that. And I also want to say NXT 2.0, showcase more shows like War Games. Let your wrestlers actually wrestle. Quit doing all this. I know I'm probably beating the dead horse here because I know who's actually, running things now. But please, can we try to focus more on wrestling? Because we see that some of these young guys that you're wasting, making them do dumb things, really can actually have things they can show. So if you're going to change your whole focus of your show, at least still allow wrestling to be a main part of it. Because sometimes when I'm watching 2.0, I'm still just trying to figure out what am I watching. And that ain't good.
Is there anything that could make you watch NXT 2.0, Jaxie, in the near future? That you would think?
I'm probably going to say the main thing that's probably going to draw me back is whatever both of your thoughts and views are on it, because that is the only way I'm kind of roughly keeping up to date with 2.0 at this point. So if I hear that you guys are starting to hype it up a lot more, then yeah, I might check it out. But I'm not gonna just like randomly chuck it on.
You hear that? We've been burying them too much.
No pressure.
We've been burying them too much, Jay.
There's a bit of pressure on you guys there. It's dependent on you.
Well, fair enough. I mean, like I said, with NXT 2.0, when it first happened, we were shocked. But I think we're slowly getting used to it. Like I said, that takeover helped.
It's like a bad rash. It's growing.
Yeah, exactly. We've got used to it. It's always going to be there. But it's going to be interesting, and I just hope. I mean, COVID's affected us all, in one way or another, and I just hope it doesn't get, everybody knows what I'm trying to say. They get worse before it gets better. I hope we can have a kind of normal year, and in many senses. You know, I think the past couple of years have always been strange. And even with us three on the podcast and the kind of where we can go now in 2022, kind of together as a team, is so exciting because we've done all the introductory stuff and now there's no holds barred.
Right.
I like that.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And it's also, I just thought about it. We were talking about stuff in January, and there was no fans in any of those arenas. Look how long ago that feels like. Because we went in, at the beginning of the year, we didn't have fans on any of the major shows that I saw. So, other than, of course, everyone who was in the crowd for Dynamite for those months. But, yeah, so it's kind of crazy how far we've come just in that sense from the beginning of the year.
Well, and if you find it depressing looking back on a year, well, we're going to look back at 7 on the WNR 400. That's going to be a real cheer, real pick-me-up if you're interested.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. But that is it for the Christmas show. Of course, we've got dinner on, the Queen's speech as well. We've got everything that we do Christmas edition-wise, so we better do that first. But
where is the liquor?
I know. Well, liquor in the front, poker in the back, apparently. Monty, have you enjoyed being here in the Christmas cottage this year and all the fun and festivities that we've done?
You know what? Overall, this is pretty cool. And I have to say, like I said, usually I'm the Grinch, but I felt a little bit of the spirit after this. This was cool. I enjoyed it. And, again, thinking back to just all the wrestling I forgot just from this one year and kind of getting a recap on all the things that went well, all the things that went horrible. It's always cool to put these things in perspective so we can get that behind us. And let's do it again all next year. So, can't wait for that. But this was fun, man. I enjoyed it.
Well, like I said, it is great having you on. And Jaxie, how have you found the show?
Yeah, again, had a lot of fun, a lot like Monty. It's really nice to be able to self-reflect and kind of have a look at just how much has happened in just one year. And always much more appreciative when we've got, others that involved. It's always much more fun that way. So, yeah, very much looking forward to the next year of wrestling, so to speak.
Without a doubt, like I said, the biggest, no pressure, guys, but the biggest and best podcast in the history of podcasting next with the WNR 400. So I think we can do that. I bet it'll be quite easy, really. But until then, that is it. Don't forget, we're across all social media. Twitter at the WNR Podcast. I'm at the WNRJR. Monty, where can they find you?
At my Monty Pod on Twitter. Check out the latest podcast whenever you check it out. It'll be the link in my bio. So just give it a listen and, listen to me talk about wrestling mostly whatever interests me at that week and at the time. So I call it Mind of Monty, whatever is on my mind. So please check it out. And I appreciate all y'all support over the time I've been able to do this and over this wonderful year. So I'm ready to do it again next year. So let's go.
Oh, very, very much. Jaxie, where can they... I was about to say peep you, but that's not the right word. Where can they find you? They don't want to get peeped.
Yes. No, you can find me across both Instagram and Twitter at Jaxie Scarlett.
I'm at the WNRJR, also on Facebook and Instagram. The WNR is not me. Don't follow me. Across all Google platforms, the WNR email, the WNR podcast at gmail.com. Do you know what? We've had that for how many years? And YouTube, WNR podcast for the latest clips and podcasts at the same time on YouTube. And do SoundCloud on your phone. Also Spotify and iTunes, where you can download, subscribe, rate and review there. So that is it. The next episode, the biggest show in WNR history, the WNR 400. But until then, I have been James Rowlands, and I was joined by the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett and the incredible Monty. But until then, thanks for this, everybody, and bye.
Adios.